Can you give the audience just a reminder of what the key principles in his leadership coaching are? And then we'll look at what the view of which of the elements are particularly important to helping implement a major change project or an AI project. So Brandon, just you get the prize if you can. You get the prize if you can hold the floor for 3 minutes or something on this.
Well, this is just one of the joys of working with you, Michael. And by the way, if you were going to give me an easier setup, I don't think you could have picked a better topic than what is the actual principles of the thing that I do, have committed my life to doing. There's 3 principles that underpin the process, and these are worth knowing before understanding the process. The first one is what is leadership effectiveness? Leadership effectiveness throughout history has been defined both in the practical research and the academic research as leadership effectiveness is a function of the degree to which you are perceived as effective, which means if you think, for whatever reason, right or wrong, if you believe I'm an effective leader, you're going to get on the horse and ride next to me. If you think I'm not an effective leader, you're going to walk the other way. You're going to be resisting the direction I'm setting. You're going to be resisting the vision I'm casting. And so if we know that leadership effectiveness is determined by those around you, the first principle of the process is to place attention and focus on your stakeholders. Yeah. How do you do that? Number 2 is you're going to emphasize feed forward, because feedback is about a past we can't change. Feed forward is a future we have complete control over. And thirdly is the idea that changing behavior is difficult. I'm not saying that it's complicated. It's very simple. It's not easy, but it's definitely not complicated. If I want to stop being someone who makes destructive comments, I just stop making them. The problem is perceptions are sticky. Yeah. There's a huge latency between behavioral change and perception change. So here's how we combat that. If I want to be a more effective presenter working with Grace and Michael, very simple. I'm going to say at the end of this, Michael, what did I do that was particularly effective? What should I do more of or less of? If I want to be a better facilitator with you, what suggestions do you have for me? Grace, same question. From this, I'm going to pick one thing to get better at. Michael, I want to be better at being ready for impromptu discussions. What suggestions do you have for me? And he's going to give me, Grace, what suggestions do you have? Thank you for your suggestions. Here's the action plan I intend to execute to show you that I'm better at this. Hey, Michael, it's been 30 days. We've done a handful of presentations. What have you noticed? Anything I need to do more of or less of? Anything I should start doing or stop doing? 3 months, 6 months go by. Hey, what changes have you seen in my ability to be more prepared for impromptu discussions? -3 to +3. I've gotten worse. I've gotten better. This phenomenally simple process, you don't need a coach for. Well, theoretically, you don't need a coach for, but we know there's a gap between what we know needs to be done and what we actually do. So it's simple. Pick something to get better at. Notice who's going to get better who's going to notice if you get better. Ask them for suggestions, tell them what you intend to do with those suggestions, execute it, and then ask what changes have people seen. Plain and simple, and you'd be shocked at how much it embeds new behaviors in organizations in the straightest possible line.
Thanks, Brandon. Grace, would you like to add to what Brandon said?
Yeah, as I was listening to Brandon, going through the process of stakeholder-centered coaching, I was then sort of trying to transfer it into the AI implementation and picking out some aspects and the sort of key. There are others, but the sort of 3 key aspects of stakeholder-centered coaching that are crucial are indeed the stakeholder involvement. You are going to be working with stakeholders, so you cannot ignore that. You've got the feedback. Yes, we always look at that, but it's done. What do? We focus on that feed forward. So by the stakeholder involvement, you want to ensure the key people are engaged throughout the project and offering those insights and also fostering that ownership, because without it, AI projects will risk that misalignment with a business goal. There'll be lack of buy-in and resistance, which can then lead to those delays, miscommunication, or even project failure? Is that what we really want? We've got the feedback. A lot of people talk about feedback. Yes, it allows for those real-time improvements, ensuring the project adapts as needed. But the power of stakeholder-centered coaching, I think it's the feed forward, which has been elaborated in helping leaders, teams proactively improve. So together, these elements would create, continuous improvement loop, keeping AI projects agile, aligned, and more likely to succeed.